Each day I get in my inbox the word of the day. And this morning the word was nonpareil, which describes one that has no equal because they are better than any other. Some would say that Lionel Messi fits that definition. Well, Messi is here tonight, as are we, with a special live broadcast of NYCFC Views from Citi Field in Queens, where New York City is playing host to Inter Miami. We'll be with you in a moment to describe all that. Yes, it is NYCFC Views live from Queens.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. NYCFC Views.
Collins approaches the shot, and New York City wins the first MLS Cup on their first try, and they're going crazy.
Tiene tiro y gol! Gol! New York City es el campeón de Major League Soccer!
The sickest New York City FC podcast. It's gonna be sick.
All right, we're excited for this one. There's Roberto Abramowitz. I'm Glenn Crooks. We will carry the broadcast live tonight here from Citi Field in Queens of New York City FC against Inter Miami CF with Messi, perhaps Suarez, Alba, Busquets. There's a better than average chance that all four will be in the starting lineup for Inter Miami. And again, you can listen to it on the New York City FC radio network, nycfc.com/radio, beginning at 7:15 with the pregame show. As you see, I'm still getting hooked up for the broadcast here in our booth. Roberto, this is, considering the form of both teams, in particular, the New York City Football Club, this is one to look forward to.
Oh, this is. I've been looking forward to this for a while, and both teams coming in really good form right now. So that is awesome. And the last time that they played, it was a magnificent 2-2 tie, or rather 1-1 tie, over at Yankee Stadium. It's the first time since New York City beat Inter Miami at Citi Field, here at Citi Field in the playoffs a few years ago. Was it 2022? New York City won that game by a score of 3-0. And it's the first time that they've played it here. So looking forward to what Mr. Messi and company think of the very friendly confines of Citi Field.
Well, as we came into the facility today, Citi Field, which right across from Seaver Way, we could see the construction of Etihad Park well underway. But I always wondered, what would they do with that pigeon that they floated down the Hudson to celebrate the 10th anniversary? Well, one of our answers was this. The pigeon appeared and is welcoming the visitors to Citi Field today. Jimmy, our producer, if you could throw the pigeon up there, please. And there it is, Roberto. I'll tell you, I don't know if you walked past it, but it is a monster. It is so big. You can get an idea there. Those are large. Those are very tall cones there. So maybe that gives you a chance to understand how big the pigeon really is. You know?
It was really, yeah, it's substantial. I mean, I parked like right next to where you are. So it's, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, God. And yes, I took a picture of it as well. So, yeah, it's pretty impressive. And that floated right by my apartment. Back in the day. I didn't get up in time to see it, though. I missed it.
Well, the best picture was when it floated past the Statue of Liberty, and the digital team got a great shot of that. So there it is, the pigeon in use. We've had a couple of people respond saying, let's make sure that it's out in front of Etihad Park as a permanent feature. I don't know.
I don't think that's
if that will happen, but maybe it'll be interesting to see where it shows up. I would imagine they spent some good change on that float, so maybe you've got to figure out different uses for it to get your money's worth. Well, let's set the scene here a little bit, Roberto. Both teams are coming off of victories. Inter Miami, they made up for their Leagues Cup defeat against Seattle by beating them 2 games ago, 3-1, and then a 3-2 win over DC United. Both of those were at Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. So those were home games. Now they're on the road. New York City has been dominant in the series overall, 7 wins, just 1 defeat, and there have been 4 draws, including earlier this year in February, the opening game of the regular season, February 22nd down in Fort Lauderdale, and it ended up a 2-2 tie, which I would imagine was somewhat disappointing to New York City because Thomas Avalos was red carded in the 23rd minute, and New York City was up 2-1. But a guy who will not play tonight because he's out suspended, Segovia, scored in the 10th minute of stoppage time, made it 2-2. So New York City could have really taken off at the start of the Pascal Janssen era with 3 points against Messi. It didn't happen, though.
No, it didn't. And let's see if they've got that in mind when it comes when this game starts. I mean, there's a lot of storylines here. So the last 4 times that these teams have played have ended in ties. Including last year at Yankee Stadium, which was 1-1, thanks to a James Sands goal. And but Inter Miami, when you start looking at their record versus New York City, they've only beaten them once, and that was a 3-2 score down in what is now Chase Stadium. So it's a matter now of New York City being able to continue their mastery over Inter Miami at home, which is they've never lost here. 3 wins, no losses, and 1 tie, 6 goals for, 1 goal against.
Let's look at some of the starters for New York City in that last game. Micha Ilinic, for instance, Keaton Parks, Burke Risa, Agustin Ojeda, and it went from there. And it was also the debut, and those players will not be available today, other than Ojeda, who we would suspect will be coming off the bench again. But Johnny Shore made his debut. Remember, he came into the second half as Strahinja Tanasiewicz was also in the starting lineup, but he probably should have been ejected with a second yellow before the interval. And I think Pascal Janssen, in one of his sweet moves this year in terms of getting different players on, he put Johnny Shore on, and he impressed and went on from there. And it's had a very important season for New York City until Aiden O'Neill was acquired and Andres Pereira was healthy, and Johnny Shore really kept things pretty tidy in the midfield.
He did very, very well, and it's funny because Brad Sims mentioned it to us. Actually, it was in the press conference that you weren't part of. I take that back. He mentioned it in the general press conference with the podcasters after he had spoken to us, where when New York City had lost James Sands. Right, when he went to St. Pauli, and they went to Pascal, and they said, we're going to go get you, a midfielder. And he said, no, don't. I've got Johnny Shore. And they go, no, but we lost, a really important starting piece, and we want to get it. No, I've got Johnny Shore.
Well, he was fine. Well, Aiden O'Neill was brought in to
Aiden O'Neill was brought in at the end of the
That's a James Sands replacement, so I don't know. I'm not sure. But
that was at the beginning of the season.
Well, before they had him. Yeah.
Right, but so they didn't panic and needed to go out immediately.
So no panic.
The guy that they wanted.
No panic. That's the key word.
Right. They wound up getting the guy that they absolutely wanted. And then again, I mean, the same thing happened in the summer window once Monsef Bakrar was sent back to Europe. And they were going to look to bring somebody else in to be a number 2 behind Alonso Martinez. And he said, nah, we're good. We've got Seymour Reed. And Seymour Reed has played important minutes, got his first goal. He's been playing lights out for New York City FC too. Yeah. So all good.
Yeah, he's a more than adequate backup right now for Alonso Martinez if he's exhausted and has to come off. Now, you mentioned James Sands. So we talked about Johnny Shore, a homegrown. The first homegrown for New York City FC in their history, James Sands. So let's go back to September the 21st, 2024. You mentioned the consecutive ties, Roberto. And at Yankee Stadium, 44,000 plus. And this is one of the top moments of the season for sure, and maybe in the history of the football club, because Lionel Messi was playing in the city for the first time. And so people came out to see him in part, but it ended up being a great game. And we have both our calls of James Sands scoring his first and only career goal for New York City FC. So first the English and then the Spanish. Here we go. Here's the corner ball, far corner, bent in, and it's James Sands with his first career goal! How about that? Drake Hollander, hands on hip, showing his frustration. New York City FC. It was the Fernandez free kick that ricocheted out for a corner. And at the death, Sands got inside of Thomas Avalos at the top of the 6. And what a time for Sands, the 24-year-old, the first homegrown signed by the club to get his first career goal. It's the leveler here in front of 44,000 plus. And how about that, Matty?
What a time to score your first. And the performance of NYCFC deserved this. You don't always get what you deserve for in football, but they deserve at least a point here. And the referee's looking at the watch and blowing the whistle, Glenn.
Viene el balón hacia el área, remate de cabeza, ¡gol! De James Sands, su primero como jugador de New York City FC. Inter Miami solo había permitido 3 goles de cabeza en todo el año. New York City empata sobre la hora. Delirio en Yankee Stadium.
Definitely Delirio, no question about it. And,
yes, it was.
So I enjoyed both those calls. And these moments are nice for us too, Roberto. And I know, I think you probably included that in the package, although it wasn't maybe necessarily heard. But that was one of my highlights anyway in the 11 years we've been doing this.
Yeah, mine as well. We sent a lot of stuff. They used what they could, and it turned out great. I love that package, that video that they showed on the scoreboard when they celebrated your 400th broadcast. Today is actually mine, but we're not going to do anything until the Seattle game, wherever that's going to be played. So today is the 400th broadcast for
maybe we'll be
Spanish
celebrating
radio.
Will we be celebrating your 400th broadcast in East Hartford? Is that possible?
It could be in East Hartford. It could be in Harrison, New Jersey. I don't know, Randall's Island. Who knows?
Well, Roberto, you shared something on our group chat, and I didn't read it initially, and then did later on in the evening. And it was an Instagram post from Tom Bogert, and it was a translation of an interview in Polish that the former MLS guy, Mateusz Klich, who played for DC United and then Atlanta United. I mean, this is really interesting. Here is the quote from Klich, and it directly relates to Inter Miami. He says, "I advise against Miami while Messi is there. It's a disaster of a club. People are fleeing from there. Organizationally, it's bad there." This is Mateusz Klich, by the way. Messi's father is the one who really runs the club. Everyone speaks Spanish, and nothing can be done without their consent. As for other clubs, I would recommend New York. Red Bull now has the better stadium, but New York City is also building an awesome stadium. And then the final paragraph. There are clubs like Columbus and Cincinnati that have great stadiums and great facilities, but the places themselves are boring to live in. I would recommend Nashville if you have the option of Nashville SC. It's a beautiful place, the capital of country music. Portland and Seattle have a great atmosphere, but they're at the other end of the world.
Yeah.
So a good plug for New York City FC from Mateusz Klich.
That is fantastic. And by the way, speaking of the stadium, I mean, we can just look out our window here, and you can see a little bit of it as it is coming up. And when we were driving in, you know what was impressive to me? I mean, I thought that it was going to be further towards Roosevelt Avenue. I mean, the minute you get off, it's like one block, and there you see the supporter section already erected, and it's just. It looks massive. It looks amazing, and I can't wait to be able to call a game from there. Another year and change, and we're going to be there.
Well, those coming tonight, 30,000 plus expected. The weather, as we've tracked it from probably late last week until now, it looked dicey on Monday. Thunder showers possibly right in the midst of the game. But now the forecast seems to indicate that if there is rain, it won't occur till after the final whistle. At least that's according to the weather app I have. So we'll just have to wait and see. But it's nice that the weather's going to hold off, because you don't want to detract from what will be a great atmosphere here tonight.
Oh, fantastic. It's going to be somewhere in the vicinity of 40,000 people, we expect. Maybe a little bit under. There are going to be sections here, especially to our right on the second deck, where we don't expect that to be sold, only because of the fact that you can't see the goal that is right underneath there. Unless they sell it as obstructed seats, and then you're looking at it, on the huge screen, which, by the way, 8K screen that is the size of 3/4 of the field.
Well, I tell you, when the ball is we're behind home plate, much like we are at Yankee Stadium. So when the ball is on the very far side of the field, the corner flag completely opposite us, right above that is that massive screen. And I will admit readily that on occasion, I will call the game off that screen because I can actually see things over there. Especially when Maxi Morales and Nico Fernandez Mercado and Agustin Ojeda are all stuffed up in that corner there. Who's who?
It becomes hard. I mean, what people don't understand, when you're at a soccer stadium and you're calling a game, you're somewhere around maybe 15, 20 yards away from the sideline. Over here and in Yankee Stadium, we're about 75 to 80 yards away just from the near sideline. And then you have to look another 70 yards across the way. And in an angle, you're looking at maybe another 90 to 100 yards across the way. And it can be problematic. Yeah,
these are very important little items that we.
Yeah, exactly.
You should always have this anyway. You should always have this anyway to see if who's cut on the forehead or things like that. But
what do you think, is this boxing?
Roberto and I are at Citi Field in Flushing, Queens, where New York City is preparing for the match against Inter Miami. And
hear that?
Yeah, and then you get used to that too if you're at Etihad Park. It's going to sound even louder, I think, there. Yeah. But it's LaGuardia Airport is close by, and the planes have been flying over first Shea Stadium and now Citi Field for years, and then you'll be able to add Etihad Park to that equation. Now, Miami comes into this game, Roberto, in the 5th position in the Eastern Conference, but they have 2 games in hand on New York City and trail by just a point. New York City now in 4th place. Not only have they clinched a playoff spot, but now they're in that top 4 with the opportunity to host a playoff game. And as we talked about in our podcast last week, they have these dreams of a potential supporter shield. If they can win out, they're certainly going to have a good opportunity. But, man, they've got some games ahead of them. Miami tonight, Hudson River Derby Saturday, at Philadelphia the following Friday, and then Seattle, who will be fighting tooth and nail to get into the top 4 in the Western Conference. They come in on decision day. But it's a favorable position for New York City, which I don't know how you felt about it in early July, but I didn't expect this.
Yeah, I mean, they got their act together. I mean, New York City throughout most of the season has been a team that has played to the level of their opponents, which is not always a good thing. And especially when you lose points to when you lose points rather to Montreal and DC United. If you look at the standings and you take into consideration that New York City lost 11 points to the 2 worst teams in their conference. I mean, if you look at it right now, where they would be right now, New York City has 53 points. Philadelphia has 60. With those 11 points, they'd have 64 and a game in hand. So they could have been up if they win tonight. And you want to look at it that way, then you're looking at 11 and a 7-point difference. With 3 games to go.
I mean, as as fans, as coaches, as players, we'll always look back and see where we drop points. But you also have to be fair and look at the games where maybe you didn't deserve points, but earn them there too. You know what I'm saying? Well, I use the word earn, but you're always earning or you're surrendering points. But there might be games like just like Sporting KC. You know, it looked like Sporting KC was going to score the winner in that game, and credit the resilience to keep it at 1-1 and gain a point. I think you can look through the schedule and see a number of those things. But for the most part, it's been a resilient group, Roberto, especially 5 out of 6 New York City has won. Just 1 defeat in their last 9. And for Lionel Messi and Inter Miami, they're scoring a lot of goals and they're conceding a lot of goals. So that's about what we'd expect from them tonight. I fully expect a 3-2 game. I don't know.
That would be great, especially if it comes out on the right side for New York City FC fans. But the funny part about all of this, Glenn, I know. I overstate the obvious. Well, when we look at at who they've played and all that, and as we were foreshadowing the end of the season somewhere in the middle of summer, and you kept on saying, "Oh, it's got it's a huge very very hard schedule that New York City has towards the end," and I remember Maddie not being exactly. Thinking that New York City was going to be able to pick up many points towards the end of the season, and
based
they
on
beat
how
Cincinnati.
they were playing and the lack of consistency and not knowing what you were going to get from game to game, not only from individuals but from the team as a whole, it was fair to look at those last 10 games and go like, "Whew, this is going to be rugged."
And meanwhile, what did they do? They beat Nashville 2-1 at home. They beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati by 1-0. They wound up losing to DC United, which is the one that just drives me absolutely crazy, 2-1. They beat Chicago in Chicago 3-1. They beat Columbus here 3-2, and they beat Charlotte here 2-0, ending a 9-game winning streak, 10-game unbeaten streak for the team from the Crown. And if you're looking all the way back just in MLS and not counting Leagues Cup, they wound up beating Dallas as well. This is a team that, especially now on the road, has played very well. They've won their last 4 on the road. And when you consider that the next 2 games are in Sports Illustrated Stadium in Harrison and Subaru Park in Philadelphia, it's this team keeps on chugging away.
Yeah. It's been impressive, and I wanted to play something here of note, and we were reminded in comments the EFL Cup in England and the sister club Manchester City, as you would expect, they're on the road, but they're up 2-0 on Huddersfield 77 minutes into that match. I don't know. Do you care about any of the other scores?
Yes, Spurs is up 2-0 on Doncaster. What are you doing, man?
I was getting out of there. Well, they're not a sister club. What can I tell you?
They're my club.
And there's a bunch of Europa League stuff going on. I'm just scanning it here to see if there's anything interesting.
Celtic winning on the road at Crvena Zvezda.
Well, Dinamo Zagreb is where Bakrar went. Let's see if Bakrar is in the lineup. No, he is not. So anyway, Bakrar, did you see Bakrar got a hat trick? He scored 1 more goal than he did in the entire time he was with New York City this year, 21 games, in 1 cup match in Croatia for Zagreb.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah, it was, well, I'm looking at the irony of it as well. But anyway, we'll go on. The referee, I don't know if you noticed who the referee is today, but it's Filip Dujic. That's the way it's pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done another game for New York City. I played this last time, I think, with Maddie on our NYCFC pregame live, which, by the way, will come up at 6:30. So we'll be back again, Maddie and I, to review a lot of these things, show a few more clips maybe than we have here. But Dujic, he was involved in one of the viral moments, one of the viral moments for a referee certainly in MLS history, with the video assistant referee involved. Dujic was officiating St. Louis at home to Atlanta. St. Louis had scored a goal, right? But it was being checked for offside. right? So they go to the video assistant referee. And now, as of last year, the referee comes out and announces, what the result of his check is. He went to the monitor, and here's what happened. Jimmy, are you with us? This is the referee, please. Filip Dujic.
After review, there was no offside offense. However, prior to the goal, there was a foul committed by St. Louis. The final decision is direct free kick.
No goal.
My name is Filip Dujic. I'm a pro referee. I am from Toronto, Canada, and I'm a proud member of the PSRA. I was refereeing a match earlier in the year. There was a offside on the field. That was the decision. We ended up going to review. And then what is usually a typical decision and announcement actually gained quite a bit of viral traction. So I ended up making an announcement, but there were multiple components to the review. So there was an offside, but before the offside, there was a foul. So everyone was expecting an offside decision, but we had this whole thing of a foul before it. So when I went to do the announcement, everyone thought it was really funny, but I was just being myself. That's just how I talk. So I said there was an offside on the play, and then the crowd, they started like cheering, and I was sort of in my mind like, okay, hold on. However, before the offside, there was a foul. So the fans were they were really excited, and then they weren't. So in the moment, I didn't think too much of it. I just thought it was, a regular announcement. A player, after halftime came, patted me on the back, said, "Hey, you really got us with that announcement." And I sort of laughed, and I didn't think much of it. That's just how I talk. And anybody who knows me knows that's just my personality. So it ended up being a cool moment, an unexpectedly cool moment that kind of came out of nowhere.
And he woke up the next morning, and that clip had 1 million hits. So he was like, "What the hell?" So
It's great. I love the dramatic pause.
Yeah.
However,
we've all said "however" in our lives, right? Yes, you can go to. You said that to your son and daughter. Yeah, you can go out. However, you need to be back in the house by 11. All right. Yeah. There's a lot of howevers when parents are talking to their children,
or something. Or yes, you can go out. However, I'm going with you.
I don't think I ever said that with my children. I didn't do.
Good.
That's embarrassing.
Good. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
All right. Hey, let's a little bit on last game, because it was New York City winning their third in a row. They're going for 4 on the trot tonight against Inter Miami to further secure the top 4 and to further provide the impetus that, hey, we could win the whole thing here in the East, or maybe the Supporters' Shield. A victory over Miami would give them another step. But it started the streak to get to number 3 was a 2-0 win over Charlotte after beating Chicago on the road 3-1. So it's really been some very good play for New York City. And both goals were scored by Alonso Martinez, Roberto, from the penalty spot. I think both were deserved penalties, without question. One was reviewed. We'll get to that in a moment. But here's Roberto's call on Alonso Martinez stepping up to score his 16th of the season.
Martínez 13-5 esta temporada. Aquí viene el disparo. Martínez lo metió por el centro, lo tiró fuerte y raso. Galina se tiró a su derecha, encontró aire nada más. New York City arriba en el minuto 12. 1-0.
Gol número 16 de Martínez en esta temporada regular. Sigue su rumbo ascendente buscando el gol 17 que lo igualaría como el máximo goleador tico en MLS en una temporada.
And eventually it turned out to be his 10th game-winning goal, which is just an insane number of game-winning goals. The guy has scored, he scored 17. Let's get to the next one, and then we'll go over the Alonso Martinez factor. This one is going to be myself and Maddie, and the lead-in, because a penalty was called, but it had to be reviewed by Tim Ford, who I would suggest had a bit of a difficult game. But anyway, New York City had the honor of getting one reversed here in their favor. Here's how it sounded on the English side. The Argentinian DP, Fernandez Mercado, curls it, top six. Hack is in the midst of it, goes to the top of the area, and the shot is deflected. And Kevin O'Toole is claiming handball. Not just O'Toole, it's O'Toole that took the right-footed drive from about a yard outside of the area. Let's get a look, gentlemen.
It's very hard for us to see. It certainly sounded like a slap of a hand.
Well, now it's coming from the New York City technical area because they've had a chance to see it a couple of times.
Well, it's handball.
Oh, that's an absolute handball.
This should be a penalty.
We just saw it from behind the goal. Toklamati hit it with his. First of all, he turns his back. To me, when you turn your back, all bets are off. And then the extended right arm, he handled the ball. Well, Alonso Martinez is the only player for New York City to attempt a penalty. They've had 6 penalties. He's taken them all. He's converted 4 of them. The 6th one and the 4th conversion was earlier in this match. All right, here we'll get a chance to see if Alonso Martinez can go 2 for 2 on the afternoon. It is a penalty.
I think looking at the body language of the players, I think they half thought. You could hear the slap. You knew that this wasn't coming off, it could possibly have come off a thigh to make that slapping sound.
All right, Alonso Martinez, he's right-footed. What he does, he'll put his heels on the top of the penalty area. It's the goal to our right. He scored on the goal to our left in the 11th minute from this spot. Christian Kalina, he's in goal. He's got his toes on the goal line. Here's the shot, and it's upper right corner. And New York City, they take another step in clinching a playoff berth as Alonso Martinez, he converts his 2nd penalty of the match. And New York City takes the 2-0 lead over Charlotte FC. Well, there you have it, and indeed a clinched playoff berth, Roberto, as well, which I think is rather exciting for the club, considering they were uncertain in the earlier part of the summer whether that was going to happen in this very, very, very difficult Eastern Conference, right? I mean, in the West, easy in. But Red Bulls, who are out of the playoff picture, would be inside the playoff line if they were in the West Conference.
And not only are New York City in the playoffs, but as they stand right now, they would host 2 out of the 3 games if it came down to that in the first round.
Well, they would host Miami, exactly. Even though Miami has 2 games at hand, we know things could change.
Yes.
But if we look at the exact live standings, New York City 4th and Inter Miami 5th. Now, that game on Saturday against Charlotte, Roberto, at Yankee Stadium, and as you and I and the rest of our broadcast crew and others, including the managers who sit in the manager's office and get to see the field in pregame on their monitor, we see the opposing coaches, staff. Dean Smith was out there this time. We don't often see the head coach, but Dean Smith was out there for Charlotte, investigating the field, looking around, arms extended, some gestures like, what kind of place is this? Then we have Zaha, who was complaining about the field in the opening minutes to Tavon Gray. And it's like, I say, and we've said, I don't know if you've used these exact words, but self-fulfilling prophecy. And I asked Pascal Janssen about that as part of our pregame show coming up at 7:15. That's your cue, Jimmy.
It sounds like an excuse. It's as simple as that. The dimensions, of course, they're different, but it's 11-11, 2 goals. The lines are the same, a little off here and there. But the one thing I do want to mention is coming into our home, and that's something that we're trying to establish, of course, from the get-go in March 27 as well, once we have our new stadium, is that teams come with a certain fear to our stadiums and have a certain fear to play us. So that's what we're looking for in general. You have all know as well that the away games in the MLS are never comfortable. And it would be very easy for me to reply in a similar way to say, okay, once we go on the road or we go to other teams to play, and you have to play on turf, or you have to play in an NFL stadium, like Chicago with the lines of the NFL still on pitch. You never hear me complain about any of those aspects because it's simply something that you have no influence on. So talking about it shows a mentality that I'm not about.
I like Pascal more every week.
And the thing is that it's amazing how much it is on people's head. It's the social media people were telling me that every team that has made a baseball pun in their social media post showing either Citi Field or Yankee Stadium has lost. I haven't checked Inter Miami so far, but every single one has paid the price.
Well,
So if somebody's seen it, let us know.
You could look at that. It's cute too. Come on. How did you criticize Nashville and Christina when their notes came out? Christina, the director of communications, where they used their headlines throughout all the little note areas. They used baseball phrases when they came in and played at. They were at Yankee Stadium, right? I thought it was cute, And so sometimes we get a little too crazed about that part of it. But when a coach and when a player is incensed about it and preoccupied with it, then that to me is the more troubling part. Let the social media teams go ahead and have fun with it. What the heck? I don't get offended by that, but it bothers me that it's not handled a little bit differently, by the income. Look, you should shrink your field during the week in training. You should do that. Of course, prepare that way, right? But other than that, don't talk about it. That's my theory.
That's okay. Meanwhile, I've just gone through Inter Miami social media and no baseball puns.
Oh, I'm
so
disappointed.
Not good for New York City.
I'm disappointed. Well, wait, I'm looking out there now. Messi has a bat and he's coming up to home plate. No,
stop it.
I don't think Messi has a baseball bat.
No, but we got to remind people, Glenn. This part is serious, okay? So they've got a big festival outside the stadium here, which is really cool. So there's going to be lots of little events and things, so people can come in. But New York City's been warning everybody that there's enhanced security at the stadium today. So it's going to be a little bit slower to get in, and they have to squeeze in somewhere close to 40,000 people. They've been asking people to get here early. The doors open at 6 o'clock. So you got 90 minutes. Come and enjoy the pregame festivities outside, and then
they have a nice setup.
Get
as
online.
They always do here at Citi Field, right? They always have that
Pollo
nice,
Camperos out there. I want to see if they got some roasted chicken. I'll do that.
Anybody, feel free. If anybody's watching
this in the parking lot,
feel free to deliver. We'll let you in, and we would.
I'm going back out at 5 o'clock. I'm going back out. So if anybody's going to go show up, go look for me. We'll say hi. We'll chat about the game, and we'll see what happens here.
Hey, one more thing with Pascal, which again, as I said earlier, every week I grow through more and more of the admiration for the gaffer. He had a little moment with Zaha on the touchline during the course of this game where Tavon Gray, outside of the penalty, and it was a penalty, and Gray admitted and sort of lamented that, that after having a good game, he had that moment. But Matt Freese up to the task, saves the Zaha penalty. But there was a moment right in front of Pascal, and we brought it up in the pregame show here. Here's Pascal.
Played an impressive game because, as you say, he was playing against Zaha, a former Premier League player. We had a little fun down the touchline as well during the game, Zaha and myself, and seeing Tavon playing against him was impressive.
Are you willing to disclose what was going on between you and Zaha along the touchline?
Oh, there was a moment in an area just close to the touchline where Tavon was in charge. He had a personal duel with him, and the referee gave a foul. And that's when I said to Zaha, I said, listen, mate, you're Premier League. This is never a foul in the Premier League. And he started to smile. He said, well, it's a foul. I said, it's never a foul. You come from the Premier League. And he started to smile again. So we had our moment.
I would like to see Pascal have a moment with Luis Suarez tonight. Suarez is the suspension has been ended. He's eligible to play tonight. Matty Lawrence, I talked to him on the way in, my broadcast partner. He thinks that he will definitely be in the starting lineup. If not, then it's Allende. And you talk to some people around the Miami team, and they think Allende is a bit more valuable maybe right now because he's active. He'll come back and defend a little bit. He's just got greater movement. Suarez, of course, one of the great finishers of our time. So you have that as well. But I don't know. I don't know what you thought about the 3 games, but if he plays tonight, I don't think he'll get a warm welcome.
No, he won't. The one thing I'm looking forward to, Tavon Gray against Jordi Alba. So Jordi Alba has been pushed up by Mascherano, has been pushed up to be left wing. He's playing forward. He's not playing defense, and they got Noah Allen behind him. And I don't know if anything like that
if
now
they start
changes.
that way. We don't know that that's the way.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm figuring he's not going to change it, considering he won his last 2 games. But on the road, Miami's been having some issues. They're not the same team on the road as they are in Chase Stadium, and so but I'm looking to see if Tavon can pocket Jordi Alba the way he did William Saha in the game last week.
Yeah, Gray has done well in those sorts of confrontations. He cherishes those things and does well. It'll be a big night for Tavon Gray and the New York City Football Club, Roberto. And again, our airtime on the English side, myself and Maddie, the Spanish side, Roberto and Ariel, is 7:15 Eastern for the pregame show. Who do you have? Do you have someone with you?
I have a nice interview with Nicolas Fernandez Mercado. Okay. 7 minutes worth of going back and forth, his experiences in Europe, his experiences here. A lot to talk about.
Can you tease it in English for us or not?
He did it only in Spanish. Sorry.
No, I'm saying, can you tease it in English for us, speaking English? Like what was the thing that stuck out to you the most?
How much he was sold on the project of New York City that made him want to leave La Liga to come here, because he had just helped Elche come from 2nd division to La Liga to 1st division.
Yeah.
And David Lee and the powers that be sold him what New York City is trying to do, what they want to become, and what their aspirations. And he was like, I'm in. And I think that's very cool.
So he's interesting because he was a true 10 at Elche. He wore the number 10. His stats, 7 goals, 10 assists. And there are some looking at his statistical line right now and raising an eyebrow, Roberto, because in 7 starts, he has just 3 shots on goal. I don't know where that came from. And
testing out the sound system here at Citi Field, which works.
7 starts and just 3 shots on goal. But he has been instrumental in helping free up Alonso Martinez and how hard he works. I don't know what the GPS calculates with his the amount of miles and acceleration that he puts in, which is a big part of it as well. But he's been really, really valuable. To me, he's playing up to a DP standard, what you would expect from a DP, although I know Pascal has said this, they will expect more goal-scoring contributions. Right now he's got a goal and an assist, but his value is kind of off the ball right now too, so I think everybody needs to look at that. Yeah,
it is. I mean, you can see the difference in the team when he's on it. I mean, he gives so much more space, not only to Alonso, but to Maxi Morales as well. And I like the way he tracks back. He plays defense. He's very aggressive offensively. He doesn't mind taking people on one-on-one. There's a lot of positives in his game. And you can't measure his game only through stats. You have to measure his game by looking at the impact that he's had on the team. And you can look at the team's record ever since he started playing, and it's just been fantastic.
All right, well, we're going to get a close-up look at Fernandez Mercado and others as we present this for you. Maddie and I will be on with our NYCFC pregame live at 6:30 Eastern ahead of the 7:15 pregame show. I'll have the exclusive with Pascal Janssen. So thank you so much for joining us. Jimmy, thank you for producing. For Roberto, I'm Glenn from Citi Field in Flushing, Queens, where New York City is playing host to Inter Miami. It's been NYCFC Views Live.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast NYCFC Views on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.